to be talking to you about some of the things that I am sharing in this Black Friday and this week of thanks. I am Deborah Henson-Conant. I'm a composer, I'm a performer, and I play the electric harp. And I love to talk about music and how it works. Um, but there's a couple different things in music. There's principles, there's practices, there's plans, and I've been talking for years about the principle of modulation and how on the harp you can modulate from, well, on any instrument, you can modulate from any key to any other key just by using what I call the power progression, which is 2-5-1. And I'm just going to show you this. So for example, I'm in the key of C right now, and I'm playing the power, what I call the power progression, 2-5-1-6-2-5-1. And in fact, I created a whole challenge called the 5-Day Harp Improv Challenge that's all about learning this particular progression. And the reason that I wanted to teach it is because you can modulate with it. And when you get into the more advanced improvisatory forms in music, which is jazz, it moves, the way that it moves around music is through this power progression. And I'm getting to the modulation staircase here. But first, that's a principle. So there's a principle, there's a practice, and there's a plan. And the modulation staircase is all about a practice. But let me show you the principle first. The principle is the fact that you can use 2-5-1, 2-5-1 as a progression to modulate from any key to any other key by just putting your harp in the new key. Now I just put my harp into the key of F, and now I'm playing that same progression in F. And then I can put the harp now into the key of G by moving my levers, and now I'm doing it in this new key. And when you're playing jazz, you actually do it on the fly. So I'd be playing along like this, and then I would change my levers and I'd be in the key of F. I just modulated, but it was very smooth. You might have not even heard me do it. And now I just modulated to C. Okay, so that is a principle. You can do that. You can modulate from any key to any key by putting your instrument in the new key and then establishing that key. And one of the easiest ways to establish that key is with the 2-5-1 progression. And knowing that is a principle. Knowing that does not always help you do it. And therein lies a lot of the frustration and a lot of the reasons why people can get frustrated and think, I'm not good at this. Because if you can't implement the principle, if you don't have a practice that helps you get from here to there, then it doesn't matter if you know the principle or not. It's just like looking at something, it's like looking at something you can't get to. And that is why I created the modulation staircase. I have a big practice that I use for myself as my warm-up that uses this progression over and over and over again. And I was showing it to the musicians that I work with in the Legacy Project team that helps me create classes in music. And they were like, that is too complicated. How do we make that simpler? And we kept making it simpler and simpler and simpler until we found something that was teachable and something that people could learn on their own. And that is what the modulation staircase is. And I want to show it to you today. One of the reasons that I want to show it to you is that this is Black Friday, and it's beginning the week of thanks, where we have 6 or 7 of the most powerful and popular classes in Hip Harp Academy on sale for 50% or more off. So I want to show you each of those classes. Today, I want to show you the modulation staircase, and I want to show you how it works. I want to take you into the classroom and let you see it. But before I do that, and I meant to do that when I got right on here, I want to make sure that you can get to it so that you can use that little QR code and you can get right to the modulation staircase. I'm going to have to pull that down in just 1 second. Oh, I thought I had another QR code where you could. Oh yeah, okay, great. So I'm going to pull that down in a second when I take you onto the classroom so where you can see it. But click that now so that you can actually get onto the page where you can purchase this, because right now it's on sale. And if you can't see that, like if that goes away once I start showing you the classroom, I also have the link in the description or caption or whatever you call it of whatever you're looking at. I also want to say that on this platform that we are on, you should be able to chat with me. Let us see if anyone has chatted here. Okay, let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess I chatted. All right, so this thing is working. All right, it kind of, I have to go back and forth to find all the different things. So here's what I want to do. I want to take you into the modulation staircase, actually into the classroom, and show you how it works and how we shift it from being a principle to a practice that you can actually take on. So let me pull that up. Let me pull down that little QR code, see if I can put up one just up in the corner so you can still get to that and see it. Where am I? I'm not on there at all. Let's see. I'll put myself down in the little corner there. Can I? How come I'm not? Well, whatever. I guess it doesn't matter if you can see me or not. So anyway, here we are at the modulation staircase. This is the classroom. And these are steps 1, 2, 3. Actually, we also added step 4. This is just the beginning of, how come this little thing isn't working? Okay, I'll pull myself back on, get myself in here. That's funny. What? Okay, well, hello. Oh yeah, so I'm going to show you steps 1, 2, 3 of modulation staircase, and just let you know that this is the beginning of a journey that goes into modulation, it goes into rhythms, it goes into learning how to improvise. These are the first steps, but these steps are very powerful because it gets you grounded. And once you are grounded, you can expand. If you never ground, then you're always sort of flailing around. So let's see if I can get both me and this image up. Okay, good. Now I'm down in the corner, a little me down there. So hopefully you can see everything. And this is the classroom. So there are a couple different parts to the classroom. And there's videos already in the classroom that you can look at. And there are patterns. There's a step 1 pattern. I'm going to show you this thing in a second. There's a step 2 pattern, which we're going to look at in a sec. There's a step 3 pattern, and you'll never guess what comes next. Yes, there's a step 4 pattern. Oh, you know what? I think I might be showing you the wrong thing. Let me see if. Okay, I think I'm showing you the wrong thing because there's the same. Wait a second. Let me find this. There was the same image on every one of those. So let's see if this is better. All right, well, it doesn't matter. Once you get into the classroom, you actually get all the right videos. I wonder where they're all. Okay, I've done this wrong before. All right, it's because it's a new class. But let's look at the patterns anyway. So in each pattern, and I'm just going to show this to you, you have an arpeggio or something that establishes the key first. Then you have a bridge where you are playing the instrument and you're also changing your levers. And then you reestablish the new key. So what's happening is you're going from key to key to key. And I'll just play this one. It's very, very simple. It's just an arpeggio so that you can establish, okay, great, those are my notes. And then you start changing your levers while you're playing, and you can stay on this part as long as you want. And then you are in the new key. You have modulated the harp, you have modulated yourself, and you are in the new key. You take that same pattern and you do it again. And while you're playing, you move your levers. You can do that as long as you want. And then you are in the new key. And it takes you around something, takes you through the keys in something that's called the circle of fifths, which you'll learn more about. Now you're in the key of D, and you can do it again. Keep going. And so on and so forth. And it takes you all the way through all the sharp keys, and then it takes you back down in the other direction. So it's a series of exercises that takes you step by step through the process of modulating. And it gets more and more complicated. So it starts here with pattern 1. Then it goes to pattern 2, which you'll see is slightly more complicated. In this one, I'm going to put my harp back in the key that it originally was, which was C. In this one, you're using both hands to play your first pattern. And it adds more harmony. You just start learning that you can be much more complicated or much more creative in how you establish the key. And you have different things that you can do while you're changing the levers. Eventually, you're getting to the point that you are actually improvising in each of these sections. And the class takes you through this over and over and over again, getting more and more complicated. Each time you establish the key, and you can see the color here, you establish the key in this sort of beige color, and you might add other musical elements in this blue one. You then modulate, you shift your levers, and you shift your mind, your levers or your pedals. You shift your mind, and then you reestablish the next key. So you can see that the colors remain the same in each one. You're establishing your key here. This is getting more complicated. Then you're moving in the green part, and you're actually bridging it in the pink, and then you are establishing it at the end. And then when you get down to the fourth one, you know what? This is like the wrong page. So I'm going to take a second here. I'm going to come back out, and I'm going to find the right page so you can actually see it. This does happen sometimes when we're creating new classes, that I made one kind of dummy classroom for myself, and now I need to make it again. Okay, so let's see if I can get to the right page here. I think this also had to do with starting out in the morning so early. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, so this would be, let's see if I got there. Yes, now I'm in the right place. Okay, I'm going to see if I can show this to you at least quickly. Oh, this is so much better. All right, okay, so I'm going to show this to you now. All right, let's take a look at this. So it's all the same exercises that I showed you, but this is the resource hub. Oh, let me get rid of that so you can really see it. This is the resource hub. And I'm going to show you this now, because this is the coolest thing. And I'm going to show you this in a second. This is the thing that helps you get around all that modulation. So here we go. It's and then you've got the elements of the game that kind of help talk you through what I just talked you through. You get the sheet music. You get to download that, and then you get the steps of the staircase. I'm going to have to do this live again later on to show you this. All right, so these are all the different steps. There's step 1, there's step 2. It's a staircase. There's step 3, and they each walk you through. Notice how it's getting more and more complex. You get to start with the simple version. You get to make it more complex and more complex. And when you get to step 4, It is actually leading you towards improvisation. It's showing you this first section is similar to how it's like it's like a song, but it's actually taking you through the power progression, and then you're modulating, and then in this pink section, you're actually improvising to the next key. So you've got questions. Oh, and here's the whole legacy team, the people that helped me put this together. What I want to show you before I leave today, and I'll come back on a little bit later to show you this to you again. I just want to show you this part. This class was specifically made for lever harp, although you can use it on the pedal harp. You just learn the pattern, and then you learn the main keys that you play in, but you can apply it to any key on the harp. This is the little tool that takes you through the process. This is on the page, and you can navigate. Let's see. I swear you can navigate. Okay, right. So it explains how it works. It tells you what you're going to see, the blueprints, the key signatures, what pedal harps can do, what lever harps can do. It explains how you move from key to key, and it has it moves, the actual little tool here moves from key to key, where you get to see the key signature that you're in, the pedal chart if you're using a harp, and the lever chart. You'll learn how to look at this lever chart and see how this works if you're playing on an E-flat pedal harp, which is the sort of the standard. If you're playing on a different harp, you will still be able to, if your harp is tuned in a different key, you'll still be able to see how it works. And then it takes you on the pattern going up. And so right here, your harp is in the key of E flat. This is what the key signature looks like. This is what the pedal chart looks like. And if you're playing on an E flat, if your harp is normally tuned in E flat, this is what your levers will look like. As you shift, as you go through the exercises, it'll shift you through to this key. You'll move this lever. If you're on a pedal harp, this is what your pedal chart will look like, and this is what your key signature will look like. So you use this to help you navigate through the patterns. You also get sheet music, but this moves you. You want to get to the point that you're not reading the sheet music, but that you're improvising through the principle or the concepts of this. This is a practice that helps you do that, and the class is a plan to put the practice into play. So it takes you through each of the keys and tells you what lever to change, how your pedals are going to look, and what your key signature is going to look like. Takes you through every one of the keys that you can play on a lever harp, which are all the standard keys that you would be likely to play in. Takes you all the way up to the key of E, which is as far as you can go. And the last lever that you will shift would be a D. This is what your pedal chart would look like, and this is what your key signature will look like. And then the patterns and the exercises and the practice takes you back down. You go back down through the circle of fifths. You don't have to know what the circle of fifths is. You will actually learn it by doing it. And after you do this, for a few days or a couple of weeks, you'll be, oh, that's what the circle of fifths is. Now I get it. If you already know what the circle of fifths is, you will be like, oh, wow, that's what we're doing. But you don't need to know that in advance. You will learn it as you do it. This takes you back down through the entire process. The levers, the pedals, the key signature. Takes you all the way back down. And then you can do it in red high heels. No, just joking. So that is actually what you do is you just do the same exercise, but using the next warm up in the series. So this can take you just a couple minutes each day to play around with so that you get comfortable and you start to learn how it works. And each of the patterns gets more and more complicated. And then you start to learn how to improvise with them. And once you're able to do that, you're able to start seeing how key signatures change in your sheet music. And if you are like the different ways that people have started using it and the beta team that's been using it, if you're a singer, you start to begin to realize, oh, I can change my sheet music and put it into different keys. If you are a pedal harp player and you are shifting over to using lever harp, as a lot of pedal harp teachers will do, or as the lever harp. Now you can get electric lever harps, and a lot of people are starting to play both instruments. This is an amazing tool for shifting from pedal harp to lever harp. So it's a great tool that either teaches you how to get more comfortable shifting around the keys of your harp. It helps you learn to modulate from key to key and to change tunes from key to key if you are a singer. And if you're shifting from pedal harp, if you're a pedal harpist and you're learning how to play lever harp, it is a great tool. I wish I had it when I was making that switch. It took me years to get my brain around the levers and the switching. This would have switched me in about 2 weeks. And if you're a pedal harpist, you can use this same music. Eventually we will have a version of it that takes you all the way from C flat on the pedal harp all the way up to C sharp and back down. But for now, you don't have to wait. You can actually start using this. And right now, during Black Friday and Week of Thanks, it's 50% off. It's normally $47. Right now, it's $23.50. So, I mean, we wanted to price it even when it's not on sale at a no-brainer price so that you can get it and you can be in there using it because it's such a powerful tool. But right now, it's even easier to just I'll just get that. But make sure that you use it. It is a practice that takes you from understanding something to actually being able to implement it and play with it and let it empower your playing. So I hope you will do that. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. Oh, let me pull up my little thing here. And I'm going to give this, I'll come back on again later on today and show this again, since I started off in the wrong classroom. And I also, I want to make sure you have a link to the specials page. So the little tiny link up at the top, that takes you right to our specials page where you can see all the specials. Oh, and I'm not sure where this takes you. I'll figure that all out later on in the day when I come back. So again, this is Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as DHC. And I request that you go forth and harp on the empowering practices in life. And Modulation Staircase is one of them.